today I'm going to rank my personal top 5 Nintendo consoles of all time. Now, a lot of people are going to have different opinions on this, so this is just my personal ranking. Coming in at number 5 is a Nintendo 64. It does have a good library of games, not a lot of games, but the really good ones that it has are solid. It has the 4 controller ports. It was the first Nintendo console to have that. And it has the 3D graphics. Now, the Super Nintendo sort of had 3D graphics, but this is really where it started with 3D for Nintendo. Number 4 I'm happy about because it's one that came out recently, and that is the Nintendo Switch. What makes the Switch so good is that you can play it in handheld mode and portable mode, and it has a solid library of games. Despite it being a newer console, not all the games are 3D. There are some great 2D games on this as well that have a nice retro feel. Now, there are some issues with this console, like the lack of D-pad and the Joy-Con drift issue that they've been having, but overall, it's a really solid console by Nintendo. Oh, and by the way, Nintendo's most successful console with nearly 150 million sold. So number 3, we got the Wii, and this came out at a time where after the GameCube and the N64, they did okay for Nintendo, but not great. This thing sold really well. It was impossible to get when it first came out. They got the motion controls. Some people love them, some people hate them, and it was just a fad at the time, but they worked really well with the games on this console. Also, the Wii Shop was awesome because it was the first time you were able to download retro games on this thing. Number 2, we got the Super Nintendo. This came out at a time where the NES was very successful for Nintendo. They wanted to make it even better, and this is basically just a Super Nintendo. It is what it says it is. So it took everything that was good about the NES and it made it even better. Better graphics, better sound, and the games on this thing are incredible. It got some great platformers and some great RPGs. And the controller on the Super Nintendo was great. It added 4 new buttons over the NES controller. It just made it a really successful console for Nintendo. And I have a lot of great memories with this one. Our number 1, I got the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, if you guys know me, I'm a big 80s gamer. So this is the first one that started it all for me. Before this, I was just playing Atari. And then when I saw this, it blew me away. I couldn't believe how good the graphics looked. You got Mario 1, 2, and 3. You got 2 Zeldas. Just got an incredible game library on this console. They say it saved video games after the crash in the 80s. No one wanted to buy video games until this thing came out. And my personal best memories are playing this console in the late 80s and early 90s.